What's up, beautiful people? My name is Derek Standifer, and I have the high honor, the privilege, and the pleasure of interviewing an esteemed individual today on this episode of Solving Sundays. We have Dr. David H. Jackson Jr., the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research at the Florida A&M University. It's a pleasure, it's an honor, it's a privilege to have you on, Dr. Jackson. How are you today, good sir?
I'm doing fine, Derek, and thank you for inviting me to participate in Solve It Sundays. You have an outstanding program here, so I appreciate the invitation.
I received the blessings, Dr. Jackson. Thank you for the kind words. It's an honor to have you on. Thank you for agreeing to do the interview. For those of y'all who are watching, I speak about having people in your circle that you want to make proud. I think there's no greater motivation than wanting to make somebody proud. And Dr. Jackson is somebody in my corner that I want to make proud. So this is an honor to have you on, sir.
Well, thank you again.
So here on Solve It Sundays, we juxtapose solving the Rubik's Cube to solving the twists and turns of life. And for this interview, for the sake of this interview, we're going to highlight your duty and your servitude as the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So those of y'all who are watching, if y'all want to comment, if you have any questions for Dr. Jackson, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and we'll make sure that we address your comments and or questions. Now, the first step of solving the Rubik's Cube, the first step of solving life is to believe. Dr. Jackson, you hold the title of Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research, and you're the Associate Provost. What is your services? What does that entails? What is your job title, and what are your roles?
Well, my role entails overseeing all graduate and professional education at Florida A&M University. We have over 40 master's programs, 12 doctoral programs, and 3 professional programs at the university, including the Juris Doctorate at the FAMU College of Law. So we try to make sure that students have opportunities to matriculate in these programs in the graduate school. And so anything that's related to graduate and professional education at the university, that falls under my purview.
And I can attest amazing leadership, Dr. Jackson, for the past several years. If you've been a Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, I've seen the quality has definitely increased. We've increased student enrollment, and we also retain students. So thank you for your servitude and your leadership, good sir.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
All right, now, after we believe in ourselves, that brings us to step number 2 of solving the Rubik's Cube. And step number 2 of solving the Rubik's Cube, step number 2 of solving life is to solve your cross. Now, solving your cross is to determine your why. Dr. Jackson, what are your reasons? Go get it for me, King. Go ahead. Go get it for you. Go ahead. We got a little hype man. He coming to get some cereal. But the second step of solving the Rubik's Cube and of solving life is to solve your cross. And solving your cross is to identify the reasons and the why. So, Dr. Jackson, you're a graduate of FAMU. What entices you to carry the torch that you are carrying? What are your reasons, and why do you want to impact graduate students so bad, Dr. Jackson?
Well, in short, Derek, I would say 3 things. Really, my commitment to student success, my commitment to scholarship, and my commitment to HBCUs. If I look at students who enroll at the university, and if we can provide an opportunity for them not only to enroll, but we retain those students and graduate them with an advanced degree, I know that that can be transformational in the lives of those students. And many of our students are first-time in college students. And so that not only will they be the first students, first people in their families to earn an undergraduate degree, but also an advanced degree. And so that motivates me in terms of student success. Second, in terms of scholarship, one of the reasons I earned a PhD was because I was interested in conducting research myself and making an impact in my field of history. But also, I get excited about mentoring young faculty members and other scholars to help make sure that we carve out a pathway for them to be successful as well. And last but not least, I have a unyielding commitment to HBCUs. My grandfather graduated from an HBCU. My father graduated from an HBCU. My mother attended an HBCU, along with my sisters attended and graduated from HBCUs. Me attending Florida A&M University, of course, and now my children, the next generation. So we have 4 generations in, and so I just understand the power of what HBCUs can do. And oftentimes we punch much highly above our weight. We carry a heavy load, but we turn out diamonds in the rough. And so that has become my life's work.
Dr. Jackson, I can attest, man. Y'all here at FAMU, I said something to the soil at FAMU where you take diamonds and you clean them up and you get dirt off of them and you allow them to shine. And then it's also a special time, a very critical time, because a lot of people are asking the question, what's the purpose of an HBCU? It's not relevant. It's not culturally diverse enough to survive in the workforce. And then we look at HBCU graduates like our vice president. We look at HBCU graduates like the political leaders who have led the forefront and flipping Georgia from red to blue, and allowing Joe Biden to be elected president. So we look at these are the benefits of having HBCUs.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Well,
absolutely.
We're going to take a break right quick, Dr. Jackson. We got some comments. Give you a line from Atlanta. She says, hey, family, we have Miss Gian Jones, Dr. Jackson. You got some fans of Dr. Jackson. You're bringing the crew out today. Mr. Leo, hey, Dr. Jackson, that's a former student of yours.
Hey, yep. What's up, folks?
Yes, sir. We have Dr. Reginald Ellis. Where do you see the School of Graduate Studies and Research moving over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, ideally, I think a great vision of mine would be for all students at Florida A&M University who enroll to end up graduating with an advanced degree, either from FAMU or one of our partner institutions through the Graduate Feeder Scholars program that Dr. Ellis heads up and does an excellent job with. But that would be a tremendous impact, not only on the university in the state of Florida, but on the nation and the world, because you will equip our students with a little bit more, right, to push them and position them to be successful in life and to make the kind of impact that you talked about, people like Stacey Abrams and Raphael Warnock, Kamala Harris, other HBCU graduates have, and they will have more credentials to be able to claim a seat at the table.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate your service, Dr. Jackson. Yes, ma'am. We do.
Thank you.
Dr. Thomas, what's up, brother? Dr. Jackson.
Hey, what's up, brother Thomas? Thank you for coming out, my brother.
All right. Okay, Dr. Ellis again. This is a great question. So, during this time, it's where leaders show their flexibility and their ability to adjust during the pandemic. Dr. Ellis poses the question: how has the School of Graduate Studies and Research sustained during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, thank you for that question, Dr. Ellis. I would say because of my staff and the people that I work with on a daily basis, we've been very nimble, and we provided world-class customer service. We tried to make sure that there was no interruption in the services that we provide to our students at the university. So whether we engage with them in a virtual space like we're doing now, or in a face-to-face format when we needed to, we continue to provide consistent quality service to students. And one of the things we embrace in the School of Graduate Studies and Research is providing quality, world-class customer service. We like to end up being the one-stop shop for students at the university. If they have issues or concerns, if they come to our office, we like to try to resolve those issues. And I would like to say also, just from a leadership standpoint, that we've looked at this pandemic in terms of the opportunities that it's going to create for us in the future. So one of the things we noticed, for example, is that we've had robust turnout in terms of some of our online professional development workshops. So we will continue after the pandemic ends, providing that modality and that opportunity for students to complete some of our professional development opportunities. And so I think that has really opened the door for us to actually build upon what we are already doing.
Yep. There's a beauty in finding solutions to problems. Because when you find solutions to problems, it shows your ability to adapt. And it also, like you said, we can bring on new platforms to enhance the quality of the services that we offer in the School of Graduate Studies and Research. Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. All right, so after we believe in ourselves and after we solve our cross, that brings us to step number 3 of solving the Rubik's Cube. Step number 3 of solving the Rubik's Cube and of solving life is to fill in your corners. Filling in your corners means to surround yourself with people who will motivate you to be a best version of yourself. You're an average of the people that you hang around. And you're also a product of the environment that you immerse yourself in. So, Dr. Jackson, what kind of environment do you immerse yourself in to be the leader that you are today, good sir, the quality leader that you are today?
Well, Derek, one of the things I try to do is to engage in professional development and accept the fact that, number one, I don't know everything, that I can always learn. our ancient ancestors in ancient Kemet used to have a saying that man should know thyself. And that meant that learning was a lifelong process. And I'm committed to always learning. I'm not afraid of taking on new opportunities. So even though I did not have to, for example, to teach any courses, because most of our deans don't teach at the university, only a handful of us do, I decided to teach because I wanted to learn how to deliver instruction in a remote environment under the conditions that we are working under, so I would have first-class experience. So one of the first things I try to do is position myself so I can take advantage of opportunities. And in many instances, those are professional development opportunities. So I participate with all of the professional graduate associations throughout the United States. So I'm a member of the Council of Graduate Schools, which is the national organization for graduate deans throughout the country. I participate with the Council of Southern Graduate Schools, which is a regional graduate schools organization for deans. I participate with the Council of Historically Black Graduate Schools, the Florida Conference of Graduate Schools. So any kind of opportunities that I have, I try to take advantage of those. A few years back, I participated in a management development program at Harvard University. And from 2017 to 2018, I was an American Council on Education Fellow at the University of Houston. So I've always been interested in expanding my horizons and putting myself in the company of people who are about progressive change.
You're an average of the people that you hang around. If you want quality people in your life, if you want to live a quality life, you need to have quality people in your circle. And these organizations that you're a part of, Think and Grow Rich, Dr. Napoleon Hill, he speaks of a mastermind group. And, it's the concept of 4 brains are better than one. So you can bring these leaders of these colleges and these universities together to discuss how to enhance the services at their respective colleges. It's amazing that you take this away, Dr. Jackson. So thank you for your service and your leadership to stay hungry.
And the thing is that, in many instances, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. And so by going out and looking at what other institutions are doing that are beneficial to students and faculty and staff, it's just a matter of bringing those ideas back to Florida A&M University and being in a position to implement those things. I think that's one of the greatest things about my position is that I'm situated where I can not only pick up new ideas, but I can actually implement those ideas back at the university. And those things have helped to contribute to the increased enrollment that you spoke about, increased graduation rates, and us posting record numbers in terms of the number of students who are earning terminal degrees, the doctoral degree from Florida A&M University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a quote. There's a quote that I love. It says that it's okay to be a copycat, long as you copy the right cat. So we appreciate you for having the fortitude to make sure you copying the right cat, Dr. Jackson.
Absolutely.
We got Jeffrey Sims, doctor, former student of yours.
Hey, Mr. Sims, my guy, one of my thesis students.
Yeah, another former student. We are so thankful for you, Dr. Jackson. We got to have a lot of greetings. Thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for your comments.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for coming out and joining us.
Frank here, St. Louis. What plans does the School of Graduate Studies and Research have for students within the next 5 or so years? I think we already addressed this. Do you have a different answer for this question, Dr. Jackson?
Well, I would add, one thing I did not talk about was that over the last year, we are fortunate enough to have a donor to create an endowed scholarship in my name. But with that scholarship, we were able to pay for students to take the GRE prep course, the GMAT prep course, the LSAT prep course, and also the MCAT prep course, which saved students thousands of dollars just by virtue of them being students at Florida A&M University. And we were able to service over 60 students through this particular program. So one of the things we would like to continue to do, if the funds are available, is to facilitate training for our students. So if they want to enroll in medical school or law school, we can pay for the courses. All they had to do is sign up and participate, and we took care of everything else for them. So that's one of the things we would like to continue, Mr. St. Louis, over the next 5 years or so.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all, this is one of the few graduate programs that actually pays for students to take their degree, their entrance exams to graduate programs. That's an amazing service that we offer here at FAMU. We got Miss Gian Jones. Any advice for doctoral candidates within the dissertation phase relating to the efficiency towards completion? I think that's a great question.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Jones. So, completing a dissertation and even a doctorate is a marathon and not a sprint. And so the best thing you can do is create a schedule and carve out time every day to work on your dissertation for an hour or so a day. And if you do that, you'll start to build momentum around completing your work. And so as you get into that pattern and as you start to build momentum, you'll naturally start to spend actually more time than 1 hour or so on the project. But what it will do for you is that every day you put in time on your thesis or dissertation, the closer you are to finish. One of the problems that a lot of doctoral students have is that they become what's called ABD, all but dissertation, that about 50% of the people who enroll in doctoral programs don't finish because the writing of the dissertation is not supervised, right? So you have to be highly motivated. Nobody is standing over you, giving you a deadline, saying that you have to have X, Y, and Z done by certain dates in the semester or you'll fail the course. So the students don't have problems with completing the coursework. It's when they are independent and life starts to take over. And so they have to look after their children. They have to, in some instances, go to work. They have to see after their parents. There are just a host and myriad of things that come up that can become barriers, but you have to always prioritize working on your dissertation. When I was working on my dissertation, I would make sure that every night before I went to sleep, that I would put in some work on my dissertation. And then sometimes I would fall asleep at my desk. But I was able to write about a 400-page dissertation in about 8 months. And so, that was because I was persistent and I continued. When I would submit one chapter to my committee without even waiting for the feedback to come back on that chapter, I would start on the next one. And then when I got the feedback on the first chapter that I submitted, then I would turn in the second chapter and make the updates to the first chapter. And I kept a rotation going like that to where, if someone called looking for me, my wife was a little frustrated. She'd say, well, he's working on that damn dissertation again. So that's just the nature of the beast. You have to be committed to it, but having a schedule and following through on that schedule. And not only as a student, but that's very important as a scholar as well, is that you have to find time to be able to get the work done that you need to get done. So I tend to work at night in terms of my personal research projects and everything, but you have to have a schedule for that and make time and include it in your day-to-day activities. Great question, though. Great question.
Yes, sir. Yes, a great question, Ms. Jones. Great answer too, Dr. Jackson. John Maxwell, he has a quote. He says that success, a lot of people think that success is the graduation, and success is the daily discipline of doing something every day towards the larger goal. In your class, people you will procrastinate on turning their assignments. You would simply say, if you write a page a day, it'll take you 30 days to write my paper.
Yep.
Just a page a day.
Yep, one page a day. Break it down, right? So the African proverb on how you eat an elephant is not the whole elephant, but that one bite at a time. And one bite at a time will get you to the whole elephant eventually.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got some more comments. I'll come back to the comments. So the fourth step of solving the Rubik's Cube, the fourth step of solving life is to take it to the next level. Now, taking it to the next level means to continue to grow, continue to get better, climb a new mountain once you reach the top and plant your flag at the mountain that you're currently climbing. Dr. Jackson, you mentioned some of this by attending some of the workshops, some of the organizations that you attend, but how do you grow and how do you become a better leader?
Well, one of the things I try to do is surround myself with people who share my worldview, right? So there's a saying that iron sharpens iron. And so people who are ambitious, people who are tenacious, people that I can look up to who are already doing the things that I want to do in life, right? I develop relationships and network with those individuals and I engage with them in such a way, in a genuine way, where they have been willing to embrace me, take me under their wings. And if I need to reach out to someone for advice, I have a network of individuals. You know, folks used to say that I had an old soul. Now I am that old soul now, Mr. Standifer. But you know, I've always been attracted to old people, right? To actually sit at their feet and listen to them. My father was a pastor in Atlanta, and I can remember after church services would be over, he would go in his study, his den at the church, and a lot of the elderly men would come in, and I would just sit down and listen. And I just realized that, you know, you can pick up a lot of knowledge from people who have lived, right? Who have lived experiences, whether they're doing what you are doing or not. There is wisdom that comes with age. So I really feel like there are no barriers to learning. I can learn from the oldest person to the youngest person, actually, right? And I'm always excited about that. Kristen Tucker, who is on our board of trustees now, who's one of my former students. I remember she taught me something in class, right? And so I was talking about the system of slavery and breeding in that system, and the creation of mixed people in that culture. And I remember referring to them as fair-skinned individuals. And she said to me, Dr. Jackson, you shouldn't call them fair-skinned, because if you call them fair-skinned, it means that the ones who are dark, by implication, it means unfair, right? And so I don't even use that terminology, right? I would say light-skinned or dark-skinned. So you can learn from students, and that was something that happened 20 years ago, right? That I always remember that she said in class. So you can learn from anybody. I'm always open to learning, and if it's a better process and something that makes sense, I always keep the door open, right? I'm not as afraid of new ideas, and surrounding myself with people who can challenge certain positions that I have, right? And so that's in the classroom, that's professionally, and that's also in my personal life as well.
I can attest. You always, you're one of the ones who come in saying, my student taught me this, or my daughter taught me this, or my son taught me this. And you always sharing this new information that you just picked up. So I thank you for passing along the knowledge that you received. Let's get to some of these comments. We got Dr. Thomas, Dr. Jackson. Enlighten the viewers on how an HBCU prepares and mentors Black students differently for the real world as opposed to a PWI.
So I think, you know, as President Robinson says, that when students arrive on the campus of Florida A&M and other HBCUs, they don't have to convince us that they are smart. They don't have to come in with this barrier that, you know, they have to prove themselves when they arrive on our campuses. So I think the intangible believing, it's like the self-fulfilled prophecy, believing in our students allows us to motivate and push those students. So when I have students, because I know how I was as a student, I was not perfect. I was good, but I was not a perfect student, right? And so when I see other students that have characteristics that I had, you know, sometimes those students are, as I stated earlier, the first in their families to enroll in college. So they haven't even thought about earning an advanced degree. But we can create that vision and shape those opportunities for them and point them in those directions. So the students will end up doing things in life that they never thought about when they first enrolled at the university as an undergraduate student. They were not thinking about earning an advanced degree or anything along that level, right? And so I'm so committed to that because that's what other people did for me at Florida A&M University. And ironically, the trajectory of my career is such that as after I graduated from FAMU, I enrolled in the Master of Applied Social Sciences program at the university. And as a graduate assistant, I worked for Dr. Charles U. Smith in the School of Graduate Studies and Research. And who would know that many, many years later, I would end up being in charge of that same office. So you never know where the future is going to take you, what the future holds for you. You just have to be prepared when that door opens that you can walk through the door. And if it's not open and you have your credentials, you can kick the door open and take advantage of the opportunities that you rightfully deserve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can, Dr. Jackson, I can fully attest. One, coming to FAMU gave me a lot of confidence that I did not have. You know, just learning about the contributions of African and melanated people to the world. You know, this is our skin color is often not taught in the history books, and is often regarded as a low level or unfair skin, as your former student would put it. But here on FAMU's campus, I learned the wonders that African people invented this thing called thinking, and now I walk around with a new confidence. And then two, I never thought that I could possibly get a master's degree, let alone enroll into a PhD program, until I saw people, you know, who embarked on the journey and told me you can do it. I remember I graduated from my undergrad degree, Dr. Jackson, and I was moving to Atlanta to start a job. And you told me, you was like, man, your grades are good. You can get into the master's program and get you a master's degree. And you know, so I appreciate you for putting me on a different trajectory than I thought that I didn't even believe in myself. So thank you for that. Good stuff.
Right, and you know that this is real, right? So we're not just answering questions. This is my life. And I think that working at an HBCU is God's work. And I'm committed to that kind of work.
Yo, Dr. Jackson got this term. He has this term called Jacksonites. You know, when you help establish a certain number of PhDs and doctorate people across that matriculation line, you call them Jacksonites or whatever your last name is. So he got a large number of Jacksonites under his tutelage. So
like the Garveyites, like the followers of Marcus Garvey, yeah, the Jacksonites, right? These cadre of scholars that are out now in the profession, making a tremendous impact, like Dr. Reginald Ellis, who is on, and Dr. LeSean Thomas, who is a professor in the College of Science and Technology, a biology professor, right? These were young men that I worked with to help make sure that they are successful in their careers as well. So that is absolutely correct.
Let's get to the comments.
Jacksonites, though, you know, they wouldn't do it, right? But it's a lot of them who would, especially that Dr. Thomas guy.
We have some confirmation. Yes, indeed. Greetings from Michaela House.
What's up, Miss House? The most dynamic.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to work with her.
Throughout the world, the best in the world.
Amazing work with her.
Yes, my team member.
Dr. Packler.
Hey, another distinguished scholar that I had the privilege and pleasure of working with throughout her matriculation. And we have stories about her journey from FAMU to UNC Charlotte and then UNC Greensboro and the trip back to Tallahassee. And she's done an outstanding job. So we're very happy that you joined.
Dr. Awarded Teacher of the Year here at FAMU. So thank you for your service.
Cheers.
We have another former student, Miss Kaisha Penn.
Hey, what's up, Miss Penn? Long time. This is the attorney.
Yes,
sir. So shout out to Attorney Penn as well. People can come through the halls of FAMU and become whatever they want to become in life. And I'm a witness to that. And that really has been one of the most enriching aspects of my career, not my own personal achievements, but really looking at the tremendous things that students have done after they've left the Highs of Seven Hills in Tallahassee, and the impact that they are making on society at large is a very fulfilling experience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dr. Tiffany Packer, you can learn from students. Yes, thank you for concurring with that. Thank you very much, Dr. Jackson. From your perspective, what is the best way to help Black students and students at HBCUs succeed in academics and beyond?
Well, I mean, one of the initial response to that is to try to make sure that, you know, that there's funding support for those students so they can focus on their education and not having to work and go to school at the same time. I was one of those people after I graduated from college and started working and enrolled back in school. I had a house. And so I had to work full time and go to school at the same time. So I know that that's very difficult to do. But I think mentorship is also a very important aspect of that, right, is to match students up with mentors, and for the students to seek out mentors that can vouch for them, but also who are willing to commit the time to contribute to their success. And so I think this is one of the things, you know, I remember that for my first master's thesis student, I probably ran the gentleman almost crazy, right? But I wanted to make sure that he had a quality product. You know, he was coming to my house at 1 a.m, bring in his thesis, and I have him back at the house at 6, picking it up so we could keep the process moving. So, because he was on a tight timeline to graduate. That's Dr. Darius Young, by the way, for you all that may know him. But I think that mentorship is very, very key. And so, and you have to have, in choosing a mentor, it's important to choose someone who has seen you in your best light and not your worst light. I've seen some students go to professors whose classes they earned a C grade in. And sometimes I feel bad for the students because they don't have a clue. This doesn't happen in many instances at HBCUs, but I sit on certain boards for scholarship committees, and I see this happen all the time at PWIs, where African-American students have not been able to build those relationships with their professors at the PWIs, and they have to go to those professors and ask them for letters of recommendation, and they just really give them average or below average recommendations. And I think that the faculty members at HBCUs value the potential of students, or they would sit down and tell them that, hey, I can't write you a letter because it won't be a good letter. You need to go to somebody else whose class you earned an A in, right? And that's why the students have a responsibility to build those relationships as well. If they earn an A in the person's class, they should get to know the professor, A or B in the class, or even a C grade. They should be interested in getting to learn the professor and making an impression on that professor. I would just kind of close this with, in terms of mentorship, a story and experience that I had as a student at FAMU. I was taking a course from my former mentor, Dr. Theodore Hemingway, called Black Americans in the 20th Century. And it was during the summer of many, many moons ago. And during that summer, the Marching 100, of which I was a member and still proud of my affiliation with FAMU's Marching 100, we had an opportunity to travel to Paris, France, and perform at their Bastille Day celebration. And, we had a great time. FAMU, when we arrived in Paris, initially they had us in the middle of the lineup, but when people came out and saw our performances, they decided to make us the final act and pushed us to the end of the parade. And certainly we took James Brown to Paris, and the people were loving it. It was like the Pied Piper coming down the street in Paris, and all these people were out there jamming behind us. But anyway, my point is that when I was in Dr. Hemingway's class, I had to leave for about 2 weeks. And so when I came back, I was jet lagged, and the class had taken an exam, and I had missed some of the notes. And so I asked for a little bit more time to prepare for the test, and he allowed me a few days to study for the exam. And I was so committed to my work. I got the notes from my classmates. I studied, and I took the test by myself and made the highest score in the class. And so when he saw that I had the ability to do that, then he gravitated toward me, and I gravitated toward him. And that's what really set off the relationship that I ended up building with him. So our students should try to make a positive impression on their professors, right? So they can continue to build relationships with them. Derek made a very positive impression on me. That's why I have embraced this brother like my own son, and I'm committed to his success as well.
I think it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, when you want to make somebody proud, and definitely FAMU teaches us the value in networking. Your network is your network. And you need to build valuable relationships with people, because many of the times I had to come to you and Dr. Ellis and Dr. Young for letters of recommendation for programs. And if I had not nurtured those relationships, y'all, I can't write a letter for you. It wouldn't be a good letter. So definitely you got to nurture those relationships. Let's get these comments backing up. Let's get to them. Dr. Mitchell, speak on it. She said we in church today, Dr. Jackson.
Dr. Mitchell is one of all of my former students out here. Yes, it is God's work, my sister. And you're engaged in that work now as well. Certainly.
Hey, Jackson, nice. Yes, sir. Get him right, Dr. Tucker. Mr. Cloud talking Vine City. He's bringing out your Atlanta roots, Dr. Jackson.
That's right. Vine City, baby. That's it, for sure.
Former student here, freshman year. It's amazing to see your students come back to the university and serving in the capacity that you are.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of you all for the work that you're doing, continuing such a rich legacy that we've carved out at Florida A&M University. So, I can recall that when I participated in an honors program at FAMU and Dr. Humphreys was president, and we had a reception after the honors program, one of the questions he raised for us was that if we didn't go off and get PhDs, who was going to be at the HBCUs to teach our children when they came along? And that's something that resonated with me. And that's why it makes me so proud to see so many of my former students who I've had an opportunity to work with in different capacities back, not only working in higher education, but particularly showing a commitment to HBCUs. That really warms my soul.
Ms. Sheila, yes, speak about the awesome Graduate Feeder Program. She's a Graduate Feeder Scholar, and as many people who have come through the Graduate Feeder Scholars Matriculation Program, they can attest of its many benefits.
Yes.
When the student is ready to teach their peers, yes, ma'am, Dr. Mitchell.
Yes. So in terms of the Graduate Feeder Program, it's a wonderful program for our students at FAMU, just by virtue of being a graduate of FAMU. This is a vision that Dr. Humphreys had in 1987. One of the things he found was that when he would go out to corporations and different places, the people would say, well, we can't find any qualified African Americans. That was their excuse. And so Dr. Humphreys' position was that we have them at FAMU. I can get them to you. What I need you to do is provide them with an opportunity to matriculate at your institution. So out of that, the Graduate Feeder Program, that vision, the Graduate Feeder Program was born. And so now we have relationships with about 40 universities where we have memorandums of agreement. And those schools have agreed to take 2 to 3 to 4 FAMU graduates each year and provide them with funding to earn an advanced degree. You have to graduate from FAMU to qualify. You have to take advantage of this close to the time that you finish the university. But it's a tremendous opportunity for our students to go off to a number of institutions throughout the country, from the University of Memphis to the University of Georgia to University of Florida to Clemson University. You all should see how those recruiters come down to Florida A&M University in an effort to recruit our students. And I'm pleased to say that last year, when we had the in-person recruitment Graduate Feeder Scholars Program and the recruitment fair, we had over 1,000 FAMU students to participate in that fair and visit those recruiters, right? And so we're making an impression on them, and in particular for the programs that we do not offer at Florida A&M University. There are other institutions. Rutgers University really wants our students to enroll, right? So we have these relationships. But I must say, Mr. Standifer, that, one of my disappointments over my career at the university, which has been 23 years, is that the students don't take full advantage of all of the opportunities that the university provides. You have the feeder program here under the capable leadership of Dr. Reginald K. Ellis. And, he does a tremendous job, but we can certainly have more and more students to take advantage of the opportunity. We had some students a few years back before the ex-president, the immediate past president of the country came into office, the program was called the China HBCU Network. And the Chinese government would pay for students from HBCUs to come and visit and matriculate over in China. And I was trying to entice students to take advantage. We were able to get about 4 students to go over to China, and some of them took courses at the Beijing University of Chemical Technology. I had an opportunity to travel over into China as well to visit a host of their universities. And so it just takes the will of students to take advantage of the opportunities and the initiative to look for the opportunities at the university, right? So when people want quality Black students, and I must say this because I say it with conviction, right? They're not going to the PWIs to look for the top Black students. That they are deliberately, in terms of their recruitment efforts, our partners with the feeder program and corporations as well, They are coming to HBCUs because they understand that we produce top-notch students and that the product that we produce is a quality product.
Couldn't say it better. True words have never been said. Thank you for that. We got Mr. Breon Glenn. Yes, sir. Dr. Jackson was one of my graduate mentors.
Absolutely. And you all must know that Mr. Glenn was a graduate of BCU, but we still took him in and took him under our wing and made him into a half Rattler. He has about 30-some% Rattler in him. The rest of it is Wildcat, but we accept him anyway.
We'll take him all in. We'll take out straight cats.
He was in that band again too, so I have to watch that cat too.
Ms. Madeline McClary, graduated from FAMU at the onset of the pandemic, offered me 1, a world-class education, 2, additionally, emotional support, and an amazing cohort. There's only 1 FAMU, 3 Rattlers. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yes, so be it. Absolutely.
Yes, we value that potential. Yes, man. I think the professors at FAMU, from my experiences, they're more than professors. They take on mentorship roles. They take on, in some cases, parental roles. They make sure, look, you need to come to school. They take off the certain time. And for some reasons, in some cases, they step out of their role as Dr. Jackson and they approach you as David. You know, sometimes you just got to show them a little tough love. And we appreciate that. We definitely appreciate that correction sometimes. Dr. Moulton, he's a graduate of FAMU, a PhD graduate of FAMU. Thank you for dropping these amazing gems tonight, Dr. Jackson.
Yes, and Dr. Moulton came through our program and is doing an outstanding job with our students. I have firsthand information on that. An outstanding and budding scholar with a Doctor of Public Health degree. So he's doing an outstanding job. And thank you for joining us tonight,
yes, sir.
Dr. Moulton.
Thanks, Ms. Penn. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Miss Starr had awesome opportunity. Miss Starr, she just passed her defense proposal. She's pursuing a PhD in air leadership. Thank you for
outstanding. Miss Starr is going to be Dr. Starr.
Dr. Ellis, we see you. Okay. Dr. Ellis, he put the black fist up, Dr. Jackson. He put the black fist up.
Proud to our people.
All right. Facts on facts. Yes, ma'am. Happy belated birthday too, Miss Penn. Absolutely. All 3 of my boys are HBCUs, VSU, and Hampton University. Thank you for sending them to the right people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is great.
And then we got Miss Gloria Jones on. Dr. David H. Jackson came to FAMU with determination to succeed. So proud of you.
Yes, indeed. Ms. Jones and I have stories to tell that we can't share in a public setting, but she was a person that was always encouraged by some of the things that I was doing. She worked with the music department when I came in as a freshman, and she was one of the first people that I met when I arrived on the campus of FAMU to pay my band dues as a freshman coming down from Atlanta, Georgia.
Ms. Jones is good people. She is good people. Ms. Starr, Dr. Starr coming soon. Yes, ma'am. Speaking into existence.
Right. Absolutely.
Would love to teach at an HBCU. I had an opportunity to speak for Ms. Starr's second grade class, and I had an amazing opportunity. Thank you for your service.
Nothing better in life. Nothing better in life.
Yep. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. We are officially on the 5th and the final step of solving the Rubik's Cube. And the 5th step of solving the Rubik's Cube is to see the bigger picture. Now, seeing the bigger picture simply means to keep your commitment to your commitments. You know, when you set goals, a lot of times it's easy to get sidetracked by frivolous activities. But Dr. Jackson, how are you able to keep your commitment to your commitments and see through to the finish of the goals that you set forth for the School of Graduate Studies and Research?
Well, I think one of the things is staying focused, Derek, and keeping a don't quit attitude. There's a poem that says, if a task is once begun, never leave it till it's done. Be the labor, great or small, do it well or not at all. Always finish what you start. So I internalize that lesson. So if I start something, I am committed to trying to see it all the way through. And so that kind of determination that burns inside of a person is what will help propel them to complete the dissertation and to go on to be successful in life. And I also believe in striving for excellence in all that I do. One of the things I learned from the late Dr. William P. Foster and Dr. Julian E. White when I was a member of the Marching 100 is that if you want to be good at what you do, the best at what you do, you have to be willing to put in the time and continue to practice perfect so you can become perfect. And so it's amazing that when people see the Marching 100 perform on the field, a 15-minute show, it's hard for them to estimate the number of hours that were put into a 15-minute show, right? And we always learned that, hey, no matter how good you thought you were doing it, you could always go over and start it over and do it again. And so continuing to strive for success, those have become values that I've internalized and transferred to my daily life, right? Outside of being on the patch and the band practice field, that I've also taken the attitude in life that if you want to be the best at what you do, you have to be willing to put in the time in that effort and don't quit.
Yes, sir. Chart the course and do not quit. Kendra Mitchell, Dr. Mitchell, she put the black hands up. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
we got Ms. Whitaker. Awesome interview, Dr. Jackson. A wealth of knowledge and information.
I agree. Ms. Whitaker, another dynamic staff member from the School of Graduate Studies, Research and Continuing Education.
To keep your lane. Wow, that's the quote right there. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for tuning in, Ms. Lane. That Marching 100, Rattler
Rattler blood.
Yes, this dissertation has made me stronger and has given me a better understanding of my abilities to achieve my goals.
Absolutely.
All right. And Dr. Ellis posted a link. Is this a giving link? I think this is this is to sign up for our so we have an email list. If you want to sign up and stay informed about the happenings at the School of Graduate Studies and Research, Dr. Ellis just posted the link in the comment section. Please register for our link so you can stay up, sign up for our email address and our email links.
Well, that link, I believe, is for the Ryan C. Smith Award that was created for one of our 3-time graduates of FAMU who passed away. But there is a link also for the graduate school as well that's available that people can contribute to the graduate school. And so for all of you, if you want to make a donation to the university, please do not forget about us in the School of Graduate Studies, Research and Continuing Education.
I want to thank the former graduates of the School of Graduate Studies, the programs under the School of Graduate Studies and Research for coming in and leaving their reviews of their experiences here at FAMU. We need to highlight these accomplishments and these wins, especially at our own university. So thank y'all for coming in and for praising the matriculations at FAMU. We appreciate it. Dr. Jackson, we have officially solved our Rubik's Cube. We solved the twists and turns of the Rubik's Cube, and we thank you for taking us through your journey of solving the twists and turns of your role as the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research.
Well, thank you, Derek, again for inviting me out for Solve It Sundays. This has been a great experience as part of my fireside chats as Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research to engage with our constituents and just share some ideas about things that are taking place with graduate education at Florida A&M University. So thank you again for having me on your dynamic program.
I appreciate it. Again, thank you from the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul. Y'all, my name is Derek Standifer, a.k.a. Ayana's daddy, a.k.a. Derek Jr.'s papa, a.k.a. my parents' son. From the top of my heart to the bottom of my soul. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all be great like the lakes. Be blessed like a sneeze. Peace and blessings. Before we log off, we got some more comments coming in. Let me address these comments right quick. Congratulations, gentlemen. Outstanding job. Dr. Ellis, thank you for the praise. Appreciate it. Miss Starr, thanks, Derek and Dr. Jackson. Great forum, always fun to solve it on a Sunday. Yes, ma'am. We appreciate it. Hello, Michaela House. I just have to give a public praise for my coworker. It's such an honor to work with Miss House. Miss House, one of those individuals, when you give her something, it's gonna get done, and it's not only gonna get done, it's gonna get done with A1 quality. It's an amazing to have a person like that on the team. And there's this is the mantra: steel sharpens steel. But when you got a beast on your team, it makes the whole operation run like a well-oiled machine. So Miss House, we definitely thank you for your service at the School of Graduate Studies and Research.
And Ms. Standifer, can you put the link out so people can sign up and for our newsletter so they can follow us through our social media, etc.?
I am doing that right now. Okay. For those of y'all watching, those of y'all still tuned in, I have posted the link to our email subscription. Please join us. We got, hold on, let me see. All right, it's posted. All right. Dr. Tommy said, Fred. Mr. Keith Rogers said, back talk, keep up the good work, Mr. Standifer. We appreciate you, Keith. Miss Jones, be sure to follow. No, Miss Jones is thank you, Mrs. House, for processing all of the grad students' applications. You are a beast. She truly is.
Yes, she does a great job.
And we got a lot of comments coming in. They coming in kind of quick. All right. Follow the Facebook at FAMU page. Ms. Whitaker, Derek, great interview. Thank you, Ms. Whitaker. We appreciate it. We'll donate. Mr. Starr, we appreciate the blessings. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Dr. Thomas, great show, and I will be tuning in on a regular basis. We greatly appreciate the support. Thank you. All right. Cool. All right, Dr. Jackson, if you could stay on for a quick debrief, and for those of y'all watching, thank y'all again, and we'll see y'all next Sunday.
Okay.